Kentucky has some of the least restrictive gun laws in the nation. Gun enthusiasts have described it as one of the most gun-friendly states east of the Mississippi. By contrast, gun violence prevention groups like Everytown have billed the state's laws as among the worst in the country. Now, Jennifer Massa, founding staffer at the Trace, a nonprofit focused exclusively on gun violence, discussed the lack of gun laws in Kentucky. And this is what Jennifer had to say. Universal background checks are non-existent. So you can buy a gun from a stranger and there's no record of the sale, making it almost impossible for law enforcement to trace these weapons if they're ever used in a crime. Absolutely makes no sense whatsoever. We got to register a car. Why not make ensure that every single weapon is registered? I mean, this really defies logic, and they really are taking the Second Amendment, which is not absolute, but some of these folks act as though it is absolutely absolute. And most of these people, a lot of these people are Christian, God-loving folks who really, I think they put the gun before God.
I think you'd be right, Senator, you'd be right. When did it get propped up on top of the Bible as religion?
Yeah,
the guns are religion, and it's just what we're doing apparently until someone says we're not. And I don't know what will it take, right? Children, okay, synagogues, all kinds of places shot up and people dying. What's it gonna take?
Yeah, churches.
Right.
Grocery stores. You can't even go to the bank. I mean, where can we go? And the sad part about it is that the NRA is running roughshod over their membership. They own legislatures and they own the Congress. The thing is, the majority of gun owners believe in common sense gun reform. How could you be against common sense gun reform? I mean, they are. And then lastly, the framers could have never imagined the type of firepower that we have today. Even when the Second Amendment was placed into the Constitution, they had no idea that we would have war-style weapons on the streets of America today. They couldn't have known that. But what about common sense, Sharon? Shouldn't some common sense kick in? I mean, we can amend the Constitution. There have been many amendments to the Constitution, so why wouldn't we amend it to fit the needs of today?
I think because there's the will to do that over, well, maybe I can't stay in Congress. Maybe I'll be a one-termer. Maybe I don't get that money and that backing. You are supposed to lead people though and not look at it as tenure, okay? Yeah, you're supposed to, who represents who here is the key question. And until we rise up, like our friends who are marching saying reinstate, okay, in that national story, until we all rise up and don't let it go, keep our attention there, what's gonna change here?
In more than a dozen states across the United States, allow courts to temporarily revoke firearm ownership by anyone believed to be a danger to themselves or others. They too are non-existent in Kentucky, Massa pointed out. The state eliminated the requirement when permitless guns was adopted, making anyone eligible over the age of 21 able to lawfully possess a firearm to conceal their deadly weapon in public without officially demonstrating they know how to use it. I mean, this is a whole nother level of West Hell that we have entered into America. This should not be the case anyway. And then if that's not enough, according to the Giffords Law Center to Prevent Gun Violence, there's no waiting period between the purchase of a firearm and its physical transfer to the buyer in Kentucky, whereas some states require a waiting period ranging anywhere from 72 hours to 14 days before the weapon is handed over. And when it comes down to it, the ease to access weapons results in, guess what? More violence. This right here. Gun deaths across Kentucky in 2021 were 25% greater than in 2018, the year before permitless carry was allowed in the state. Massa said adding gun homicides during the same period were up 75%, which she said bucks the idea advanced by gun proponents that the best solution to a bad guy or a bad gal, let's put that out there, with a gun is a good guy or a good gal with a gun. Sharon, any final thoughts? I mean, that right there, I mean, we need to put an exclamation point on that right there.
Yeah, we do, because what you're really chronicling there is a cooling off period that doesn't exist. When I go to buy a house, you know, that due diligence period you can pull out and then it won't cost you anything. Yes. Or I don't know, when you go to do an airline ticket, the airlines want to gouge us. Even you get 24 hours there where you can not have to pay a penalty, but not with a gun. Not with a gun. And it is just loopy at this point, Senator, that they are legislating death and carnage. That's really what they're doing.
Oh my God, legislating death. You laid that. Well, our hearts go out to, and we need some action, but Sharon and I will say thoughts and prayers, because I still believe in thoughts and prayers, coupled with some action. Faith without works is dead, and we got to keep pushing against these laws. Kentucky, y'all need some help.